So, now that that is over,
So we're back into the throes of the after dark.
the after dark.
So I
Okay,
know we have a topic, but I want to like start it off with like a side topic that kind of could lead us into this.
go for it.
So I wanted to dip back into the topic of turning into a villain.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw this thing today. Actually, I think you sent it, and then it got me talking with my friends about being in the train, stuck in the train because somebody decided to jump during rush hour. But that's not what would cause me to become a villain. What would make me a villain would be being on the express line and seeing 3 to 4 local trains pass by. So that means the
Oof.
express train is dragging its cylindrical feet towards my destination.
Dude, that would
That
suck ass.
that will turn me into a villain, and that's when I turn into Magneto and crunch the train.
Just crunch it.
Just crunch it.
Just destroy everyone and
I
everything
will
in that
just
train.
everything, every innocent person in there, because it's like, look, some butterfly effect caused this slowdown for what? Like, what's in front of the train? Like, I know, and that's another thing too. I remember one time I was standing at the platform, and there's an A train that goes by. I'm like, okay, cool, because I'm not taking the A train. It's been gone for like 10 minutes. The D train comes, and I'm just short. Why? Why is like that doesn't make sense? That's the only train in front of the D train. 10-minute gap. Why am I strolling through the tunnels? I might as well have just taken the local, train. So yes, I will crunch the train and then continue my villainy against humankind and make sure the mutants rise.
I mean, like, I've definitely been in that predicament where, like, not only like watching it right and then waiting for the express to come, but also like because the six line had it the express also, and it would just be it's another six. It just skips half of the
Oh yeah, because
stops.
it's the Diamond Six. That's
Yeah,
Express.
exactly. And it's only on like certain times, like during rush hour. It's not express and all that. It's only certain
Yeah.
times of the day and on the weekends. But I've definitely done that where it's like I'm on the diamond one where it's like I should be flying to my
Yes.
destination, but
Yes.
yet somehow I have been stopped. My golden carriage that is a
Yes.
diamond has been
Yes.
stopped, and I'm watching other trains on the sidetrack, right?
Yes.
Fly by me. Do they have diamonds? Fuck no. They have the stupid circle. And I'm sitting there like an asshole because some fucking moron in the switch room somewhere was like, oh, this one has to go first because that's how it goes. It's not like there's traffic anywhere. The only times there's traffic is when there's like, an accident or, someone falls in or something like that. But like, beyond that, it's some asshole in the room being like, you go here, yay,
they're
trains.
they're the one pressing the buttons. This is how I imagine the control room. It's like, you know what? They're like with the fucking abacuses, but it's
Yes,
just with the it's just beep, beep, beep.
but dude, it
It's
has to be like that. Because the conductor, engineer, whatever the hell you want to call it, the person in the little room, all they do
yes,
is hit the brakes.
it's the little room. You mean the little room in the train, or you mean in
Yeah,
the at
no,
the at
in
the?
in the
Oh, okay.
train.
I'm here thinking like at like HQ. They're in like a little box room dealing with all these.
No, in the
I see
train,
what you.
all they do is fucking hit the brakes.
Yeah,
Like, and half of that, I'm sure, can be controlled through fucking uh the switchboard at the mother station,
the mother,
wherever the
the
hell.
mother, the motherboard, the mothership.
Yeah, the mothership of the MTA. Like,
Uh, also, blatant lies from the MTA. So the D is infamous for this. So like, I'll get on the D, and I have to get off at 175th. But when it goes express, it's like, hey, we gotta go express. It says it by the time I get to Yankee Stadium, and it's like, we're going express. There's a train behind us. Blatant lie. So I get off at 161 Yankee Stadium, and I'm like, I'm waiting for the next one. They say it's right behind. It gets there, but when I hop in the train, guess what they say? There's another train behind. Get on that train. Happened twice.
Dude,
So
when they say another train is behind, I'm expecting that when I exit the train, that shit is literally glued to the ass of the train I was just on.
yes, yes, but that even if it's like 2 minutes behind, fine. But I mean, you told me so. Who lied to me? The first guy or the guy that came in? Tell me like, so wait, which train is behind what? Which one do I gets me home?
Bro,
So you're telling me I have to get on the train after that?
what bothers me is there's always a freaking train 2 minutes behind you. What the hell does it matter? Like if
But then
I'm
for some
getting
reason they're going express. Why are you going express when I have to get off at 175? Because they go express to Tremont, which is the train after my stop. So it's like, so that's another reason to turn to a villain. Villain of the
it's
week.
just so fucking weird, like the train situation. And my favorite thing, and the longer you take the subway, the more fluent you become in
Oh, true.
subways. You know, when somebody gets on the mic and they're like, and then you're
That
just
was
there like,
perfect.
and you're there like, oh my god, I have to get off in 2 stops because this asshole did this.
And then like, wait, what? How'd you know that? It's like you gotta be born and raised.
He's born and raised. You gotta ride the rails. That's it. That's the only way you can understand that. One of the best, just super side note, random tangent. One of the best examples of that is in the movie Robots. With Ian McGregor is the main guy.
Yeah.
He goes onto the train to go to like the big city. He gets to like the Grand Central Station area, and there's the guy on the loudspeaker, and he's like, and then like, you know, the Aaron McGregor's character walks up to the booth, and he's like, "Hey, how do I get to over here?" And you're expecting the guy to talk normally, and he turns around, he's like, fantastic. But
That's great.
no, that is definitely a good reason to become a villain. I think that is like something that would drive me fucking insane to no end. Or the other thing where like I'm sure it's happened to you before when like the train will just stop where they're just like, "Hey, it's done. Like today it's over. I'm going to get off. Everyone get off. There's another train behind us. We're absolutely done for the day."
Oh, those are the worst. It's like,
It's
wait,
like,
what do you mean? No explanation? Like,
yeah,
was
it's
there a
just like,
fire? Like, look, it doesn't make it better if there's someone jumping on the tracks or fire. But if you give me no explanation,
yes.
oh, I'm a Thanos level threat. I'm an Avengers level threat
Like,
villain.
when they
if you
just
give me no answer.
straight up evacuate the train, and it's just like, "Yep, that's it." And then you see the MTA workers get off too, and then they pull off, whatever. They just decide to retire the train right then and there.
And it's like, yeah,
And
like,
you're like,
they have to put it in like train graveyard.
yeah,
They're
and
like,
you
yeah,
just,
we're getting a new train.
yeah, there's another one coming in 15 minutes. Hope that doesn't bother you, but yeah, we're done here today. And it's just like,
It's
what?
their lunch break.
Yeah, their lunch break in the middle of rush hour.
Now, the only reason I will go hero is like the person that pulls the brake. They like, the emergency brake. They pull the brake. I become a hero, vigilante his ass, then become a villain because you made me late to my destination.
Oh, like just pull the brake randomly?
Yeah, that's happened to me before twice.
What? For real?
Yeah, because it like the train stops abruptly. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's coursing through the tunnels and it just stops. So it's a violent stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stop because it's like you have to check for emergencies. You have to call the law enforcement. They got to check what's going on. So you're late. So I will go vigilant. Like I'll turn into Punisher. I'll punish his ass or her, whoever it is. And I'll be Punisher vigilante and then I'll be Punisher villain. Like straight murking everybody. Like
Damn.
villainy. Because like who's the asshole to pull? Like you're messing up everybody's day. So this is equivalent to the hobo jumping onto the thing, but this is you're sane, functioning human decided to say, I want to watch the world burn. Specifically, this metal tube.
Like, I don't even think you said it happened to you twice.
Yeah, two different. It was not like it happened like months apart, but it
Mhm.
happened twice as an adult. Like it's never happened to me going to school when I was a kid. Like it's wild that happens, but people are getting more flamed. Train surfing is still a thing. I've witnessed train surfing,
You
and
saw
I
someone doing it?
like so, and there's different types of train surfing for anyone listening or watching. There's literally on top of the subway, which
Hmm.
again, depending on which subway, you get flattened or knocked by a sign,
Oh, you're
or
dying
getting
for sure.
getting on the back of the train and riding
Hmm.
that. Like that is safer than top, but like you lose your grip, you're done.
That's it.
So I've seen that happen. I remember one time I got out my stop, and I still feel bad for not saying anything. I hope the kid was all right, but I'm like, yo, I should have been like, yo, you should not do that. But they're not gonna listen to me. So I didn't say anything. That was like my first thought. And maybe I should have just done my due diligence and said something. Maybe it could have stopped them. I would never know. But it's just like stuff like that happens. And it's like, you fuck up, you fuck it up. And I was not like thinking about the other people in the
Hmm.
train, but it's like, I'm thinking about this kid's life. You fuck up. Now the next train coming in has to slow down because you hurt yourself. Maybe worse. So it's like,
And like, is it ever like, honestly speaking, like yes, people have appointments to keep. Time, it matters. But like, is it ever worth that? Like, have I jammed myself into a train car when like I didn't have to? Yes.
oh
But
yeah,
is it ever really worth it? Like, it's the New York City subway.
it
Most of the
is.
time, within 5 minutes, you're getting another train.
Yeah, depending on which train. It
Yeah.
depends. When I was younger, you can tell which train would take the longest. But look, thank God for those like the app and then the things telling you because you can sit there. A train could come in 2 minutes, but it feels like it's forever. But
Yeah.
now it tells you 2 minutes, you feel fine because it's like okay,
And
it's telling me.
the other thing, if you're a seasoned writer, like, you should have the app, and the app is pretty up to date. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
the app is yeah. I
that,
have the app all the time. And my boy said it best. When you see the time, always subtract 2 minutes.
yeah.
That's what he says.
And
I
even
usually
Google Maps, I used to use that, and they had accurate MTA times, like,
oh
fed
I,
into it.
yeah, I never use I don't use it because it was a little weird to me because there's
Hmm.
just so much else going on the map interface. But yes, the map does
Yeah.
do that too. Yeah, I don't. I just use the map and then I'm like, all right, cool. And then like there are times when I'm taking the train or whatever. I don't like if I'm going home. I'm not late to anything, so like I'm not gonna jam myself into the train. But if I'm going to work, I
Facts.
gotta jam in there. I gotta jam in.
Facts.
I just
But
gotta jam it. Like
it's
Parks and
just,
Rec.
just gotta jam. It's just, I don't know. I never understood, like, I've had my fights with the train and won. Like, I've had my fights with the train and lost. But I've never been like, I want to sacrifice my body, soul, and or piece of me to get on the train. Like,
No,
like
you
I've
never
never
won.
felt the need for that. So yeah.
Now I want to pivot to talking about sacrificing body instead of trains. It's a ship or boat, whatever, what have you.
It was a private sailing vessel,
That's what it was.
I guess. I mean,
I don't know the
it's a
full
boat.
story,
It's a boat.
but anyone listening, you know about the brawl that happened.
So, for some
Black
background,
Black Vengers came to
dude,
the day.
it was absolutely insane. So,
Yeah,
anyone who has social media, you've seen it. It happened last week. Um, a
it's everywhere.
brawl,
Even
a
news all
brawl
over.
in Montgomery, Alabama, right off the river, um, which should have never happened. Is because
True.
some multiple
Drunk. It
assholes
had to
were
have been.
drunk.
Yeah.
So, for context, there was a guy, African American guy. You know what? I don't even know. He's black guy. He could be any type of black.
He
He's
was an
black.
older security guy.
Yeah, he was a security guy working the dock, and he had told the people who docked their boat multiple times, "Hey, you can't put it here. It's in the waterway, and it's that's the danger to not only to them and their vehicle, but to other vehicles coming through. It's a throughway. It wasn't meant to be docked." But they said fuck it, and they docked anyway. They got drunk, they left to go drink or whatever. Came back and they were drunk, and the guy kept saying like, "Don't park here, don't park here, don't park here." They left it there. He took it upon himself to now. I think he like took the rope off and was like pushing it down because again, it was a safety hazard for anyone involved. Guys come in, They see what he's doing. They start like immediately. There's yelling involved. You see the guy, like the security guard, like repeating himself, getting more and more worked up. Like he kind of like claps his hand a bit, and he's like, "You can't park here." And then one of the guys, out of freaking nowhere, starts punching. So the security guard goes, "Fuck it," throws his hat, and he starts going at them.
Before you continue, what I love is that people saying that is the call to all black people everywhere.
Bro, it ends up being an all-out fucking brawl. So
the swimmer was the best.
The other end of it, this group of people that had the boat, they were white, and there ends up like they multiply out of nowhere. Ends up like random. Yeah. It goes from like 2 or 3 to like 10. There's women involved, but it's the same end on the other side. So like the black guy, right after he flings his hat and starts beating the shit out of the other guy, literally everyone. So it's across a waterway, so there was a lot of people that could see it within like view. Like there was people recording it, and you can tell that there was like dozens, if not hundreds, of people that were witnessing what was happening. People got over to this man any way possible. There was, like Jay said, one person swam across the channel and popped up and just started punching people.
Basically, David Hasselhoff, like from SpongeBob, just zoomed in. Anyone hovered in, Doctor Strange circled in. Like they just came through. And I kept seeing all the memes. It was hilarious. But one thing I'll say, it's Montgomery, Alabama. Dr. King spoke there. That is, you don't mess with anyone there.
Dude, and the other thing is like, what it just so happened, like after the fact, this had nothing to do with it, but it just, it's weird that this is a coincidence. That exact dock actually used to be an auctioning site for slaves.
I did hear about this.
Like, I did hear. Insane, right? And
the spirits came out that day.
Yo, and the memes and videos, because one of the guys involved in the fight, one of the black guys, had a folding chair and was literally hitting people over the head.
Oh, the memes were like how the sales went up on Walmart or Amazon.
Dude, it's so wild. Like, I saw one guy, he was pretending to be a video game fighter, and he had the chair equipped, and he was doing like a fighting stance like this. And like you saw his stats, and it was like the hidden ability was like power of the ancestors. And it's like, dude, it was so fucking funny, because the other thing is, everyone gave a shit now about folding chairs. Lo and behold, the patent for the first folding chair was invented by a black guy.
There we go. And you learn something new all the time.
Dude, it was so funny.
It was a, I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to use it. It was such a beautiful moment when it comes to history. Like, look, there are people that are going to be arrested. I don't know the details on that. But I'm sure both sides will be arrested, but it shouldn't be one-sided. There's a clip of the guy being, he should not be arrested. He was only in self-defense. But anyone else involved, there has to be arrests on both sides. It can't be one-sided because, like the guy that was hitting in the chair, like he was wilding out. Like there were times he was fighting, defending, but then he hit like 2 people that were just like chilling. Yeah. Unless they deserved it, because I don't know that point of view. Like he hit like some old lady that was already downed. So I don't know if she was involved. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was an old lady that was like, she was like a big old white lady that I'm like, was she a part of it? Like, was she throwing fists?
Like, you gotta remember, self-defense is up into a point, right? It's like, I forgot the legal term, but it's like reasonable self-defense, right? You can't shoot someone that punched you, Like, you can't kill someone over something like that. Like, if you think your life is in danger, then that becomes like a self-defense thing. But it's like, you have to show like whatever, like the same version of force that is being given on to you. And hitting someone while they're down with a chair, dude, that's not cool.
I think he got tackled by one of the police officers. So, and it's a wild thing. Look,
like the main guy definitely should not. Like he literally told them over and over again he didn't throw the first punch. Like he got fed up at the end after he got hit. Like he did everything he was supposed to. Like
it's the hat throwing.
The hat. Like, he was just like
it was a couple of things. The hat and the throw. He's like, That was his like calling all his black brothers and sisters to come in. Or it's like I don't give a fuck and I'm Breaking Bad. Like he's turning into a villain
That's
this time.
that's and that's what I felt like it was. It was just
Like he's like I'm gonna lose it all for this guy
this
right
this
now.
was like I'm off the clock. Like he threw
Yeah.
his uniform. Dude, it was so crazy to see something like that. Like clearly those guys were in the wrong. Like the group
Oh,
with the boat, 1,000% was in the wrong. Why wouldn't you just listen to the security official from the get? Like you're being an asshole.
to be honest, look, if it was a white guy, that would have been it would have been the same situation. It wouldn't have
You don't think?
because, and if it did, who was gonna come in? Maybe it would have been the same situation, just all white people fighting.
Maybe it
So
would
it
have been
just
worse. Maybe no one would have came to the security guard's aid. Because in reality, let's call it as it is.
yes,
Minorities, especially black people, have this kind of like unspoken brotherhood a lot of the
yeah,
time, where it's
yeah,
like, and Tom Segura, he actually posted this like after the whole Montgomery brawl thing.
yeah,
He posted a bit that he did about how like there's no white guy loyalty. He was like, if there's a white guy that's deserving an ass whooping, like no one's gonna jump in and help. But if there's like a black guy or a minority that sees another person of the same race, like they will involve themselves because they feel like it's their duty for their
yeah.
brother, right? So it's funny to see the cultural dynamics because like I can see someone who is a minority, someone of a person of color, like I could see them involving themselves in an altercation to make sure it dies down, right? Or to help to come to aid. But I cannot see a random white guy jumping in to help another random white guy, like, you know?
And that's the thing. So, and I think you said it, and I'm gonna just say it again. There is no white guy, specifically white guy loyalty. Now you have a crying white woman. Oh,
Well, yeah, I
they
guess.
always they roam in hordes because it's like if let's say it's a boyfriend and girlfriend, black guy, white girl, they're just having a fight. White guy has to be the white savior or the Prince Charming. Oh, what are you doing? I'm like, no, that's my girlfriend. And then that's when you have this thing to step in. It was kind of like that lady, the doctor from that thing. She was trying to get on this kid's bike, and she was calling the police
Oh
saying they were
yeah.
taking. And then all these white guys started coming through. The first old guy was like, "Yo, just give her the bike." And I was like, "No, that's his bike." And then there was this, you saw him. He kind of like was like
Puffed
this,
his
and he was
chest
like,
out
"Yo,"
and
and
everything.
he's like puffing his chest out. He's like, "Bro, you don't know the situation, but you just immediately come in because it's just a white woman. It's just a weird,
Yeah.
it's a weird DNA genetic thing that's just in us, in all of us, no matter how.
Mm-hmm.
But it stems from history. Like
Yeah.
I remember learning about a lot of stuff. Uh, and I remember asking you this in college. And I was like, "Yo, why do I feel like at unease when I'm around cops?" And then he's like, and you jokingly said it, but you were serious. He was like, "It's because you're black." And I was like, shit, I didn't really think about it like that because
It's just
I'm in a place where like before I used to go to school and go home. I never stayed out. Had no fear of cops because I was never out. So it's like seeing it now and looking at history like this was always a thing. Cops shooting black kids, the Central Park Five, like just being like that whole thing.
I mean, go further
So
back,
go further,
sheriffs,
yeah,
like you
yeah.
know,
Well, this was just me learning
yeah,
at
yeah,
post like that. But yeah, it goes further back.
yeah. I
So
mean, it's
it's
a
wild stuff.
it's almost genetically coded at this point because of hundreds of years. I mean, even to this day, like I have family members that are police officers, retired and active, and different members of like military branches and stuff like that. There, and I don't break any laws. Like, yeah, sure, sometimes I speed or whatever, but like, I don't break any laws to the point where I need to worry about police officers. But I do, and especially since pre-pandemic and during pandemic, all the things that went on. Yeah, man, it's gotten worse because I think everyone kind of has that thing where you're driving down the highway, maybe you're going like 10 miles over the speed limit, and you see a cop waiting for someone, and you kind of like your heart goes to your asshole, and the adrenaline kicks in, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna pull me over? But I think for a lot of people that are I mean, whatever terms you want to use, where like people of color, minorities, whatever, you have a second thought of like, oh shit, like how do I have to act now? Like what's going to happen?
Then you got what's the word? Code switch.
Yeah, it's like how do
which happens in offices,
yeah, you know,
but
you got these
at a
things of
cultural.
like you have an extra layer of fear because of experience, stuff that you've heard in the news, stuff that's happened. Like it's not a cool time, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, there are people like that. I have
yeah,
been around many good cops, many, you know, whatever you want to call it, like, you know, people that follow the law and actually do not badger or um, like abuse their power. But on the other hand, I have been around some that do like to abuse their power. Thank the Lord, like I haven't been put into a situation where it's life threatening or, you know, even
yeah.
life altering or anything like that. But there are situations where you feel weird, you know, you feel
No,
weird,
yeah,
like
for sure.
or you gotta like you have to double check yourself to make sure you're doing everything right so nothing goes wrong. And even then, unfortunately, to other people when they're doing everything right, it still goes sideways. So that's an extra layer of fear. Like that's a I don't want to call it a disadvantage, but that's something that rolls through your head. That's an anxiety, you know. So yeah, you know, being brown is it's not always like I don't know, like it's an extra level of stuff you have to think about,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
especially when it
So I'm
comes to,
happy.
like to law enforcement.
Yeah. So like looking at the video, it seems like what I'm happy at. I don't think there was any. There was no shots fired during this brawl. So
No, I think it was just all
it was
like
just.
punches.
I think it was just like physical and I want to say a baton. Do they still carry batons? I'm like, I think it's just like in their cars or whatever, their their vehicles. But look, the camaraderie between this and this was, again, I don't like to use this word for this, but it was beautiful. Stood up for your kinship, because it's like it's one of those things where, like, if I was in that situation, in the sense of like I saw, I don't know, I can't tell you how I'd react. Now, like I know how I'd react with people I know. Like if it was one of you guys, I'm like, if I saw you getting like beat up, I'd be like, I'm not gonna sit there and watch. Like that's some like evil shit. See,
Hmm.
like my producer already left. Like she was here and she was just. I know.
Yeah,
actually took a screen grab of that. Actually, let me see if I can screen grab this.
Brownie was here. He was just yelling. He wanted to give some notes to the people and say hi.
Just no fucks given.
But
It looked like he broke his eyes.
but
But yeah,
yeah,
no. To kind of keep it a little light, um, I would not be surprised if he went villain after this. Like if he had superpowers, you know what? Speaking of that, like I read only the first issue, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you. It's a book. I forget what's his name. It's called Black as Fuck, or it's Black AF. It's when black people just develop superpowers. Only black people. It's a dope concept. There was another one called I think America's Sweetheart, which is like an offshoot of that comic series. It actually did well. Like I've seen it for a couple years. I just it's died down. I haven't seen a lot going on now, but that kind of idea works because I think it starts out where a black kid in a hoodie gets shot up and he just gets up and just starts moving, and that was like the. It's kind of like Heroes. It's like the first of a
like the
superhero.
emergence or whatever.
Yeah. So I wonder, and then he made another series called White, but I don't. I think it's just where the white people are trying to like combat. I didn't get too far into it,
Hmm.
but the concept and the idea of it, it's not like necessarily new, but it for the climate, the social climate of things, I think
Hmm.
it was necessary.
I
And
got you.
there's a lot of comics that are very necessary for that. So yeah, I think we're up. But yeah, that brawl just went all over the internet. Shit is wild.
Yeah, it was nuts to watch. I mean, it was like you know it got memeified to death and like you know people doing all the
Yeah, there
funny
was already a
videos.
there was already a video done for it where like it was just friends at a pool, like at their own personal pool. Did you see
Oh
that one?
yeah, that reenacted
Yeah,
it. I saw that
yeah.
too. It
Like the
had
fake fighting was hilarious though. Like they
like
felt like, oh no, I'm hurt. Like I was dying because of that.
it was just so it's so I don't know, like it's kind of weird because it's a significant thing. I'm happy that those assholes got their like their shit rocked.
He
Like
even posted, he's like, yo, the guy can throw hands. I was like, What you thought? Like
Like
it was not gonna come right.
I'm happy that that happened, but then the other side of it of like I think we should be treating it a little more seriously.
Oh,
You know, like it's funny because like no one got killed. That's why it's funny.
that's
But in
exactly.
reality, it could have went south
Yeah,
really
if
bad,
let's
really
say
quickly.
if it because there's three parties here. You got black people that could have wilded out. You got a white people that could have wilded out, and then you got cops that could have wilded out.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, in this incident, no one died. Um, and I think that's why we can laugh at it. Like you can't, like for example, you can't laugh at the January 6th storming the castle or storming Capitol Hill. Like you can't laugh at that because there
Nope.
was problems and that people really did get hurt. I think people died too.
Yep.
But how many? A couple officers. I want
Yeah,
to
it
say
was like a
maybe.
handful of people. You
Yeah.
know.
So and like actual heads of our country were in danger.
Oh yeah.
So compared to those two incidences, obviously one is bigger than the other, but they're still both big incidences. I don't think anyone's ever laughed at it. Maybe make a joke about it, like maybe a comedian made a joke about it. Um,
Now you can make a joke
but to
about the.
me,
You could make a joke about the people, like how absurd the people are who were involved.
yes, but yeah, and I hear you on that. Like, it's something that should be taken seriously, but I think there's something, again, there was something beautiful about this, and it's hard for me to put my like. I guess like you said, no one died.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to be thankful for. Um, I'm happy that it was caught on tape, the initial reaction, because it's like if no one was recording that, like now this guy is actually going to be vilified because it was like it could have been like, oh, black guy beat up white guys, and it's like really one guy. Well, he did hold his own, but it would he would have been vilified through the media outlets. But I'm happy that it was recorded. Now, I think that's all I have to say to that. Like there was some sort of there was that kinship, and it easily could have went left. So I'm happy it didn't.
Yeah, it's great to see that people did step in for the right thing, right? Although it was violent and violence is never great, but you know people stepped in and stepped up for the right thing because it was somebody who was getting physically assaulted for no reason. You know,
Yeah.
so I am happy that that happened, and I'm also happy that no one got it seriously injured. Like,
Oh, then Crocs did though.
yo, that guy's Crocs are like it was funny.
Someone said, "Yo, if you own Crocs, you know they're indestructible."
Like it's funny because they showed like an actual picture of a crocodile like superimposed on top because it
No.
looked like the mouth had opened up and had teeth and all that. Dude, it was so funny.
That's
But
so funny. But either they were cheap Crocs or those Crocs are real
nah,
Crocs.
they were legit, man. They had the
Um,
Croc logo and all that. They got
but yeah,
blasted.
jeez. But what was I gonna say? I can see that it kind of like just what it is too. Like I keep using the word beautiful, but it kind of reminds me of. It's kind of like one of those. It's okay. It's kind of like the top and the end of Inception. It's like, will it fall or won't it fall, right?
Hmm.
So going back, taking it back further, it's kind of like the movie Do the Right Thing. Did this dude do the right thing by smashing the window? Because if he didn't smash the window, it's like, you know what I mean? So it feels like that with this situation. I can see Spike Lee like, I'm gonna make a movie out of this. Like that's what I'm getting from this. Like you make a Fruitvale Station version of this, but with the security guard following his life
Hmm.
leading up to this situation.
And seeing like the moment, like what is this? It comes down to this one
Yeah,
pivotal moment of like which way is
yeah,
it gonna go? Like
yeah.
do the right thing. I mean, I love that movie and I love the messaging behind it, but you can argue it
No, you
wasn't.
can definitely argue both
It's
sides,
not the right thing to do. You know?
but that's the thing. So I remember in film class we there was a whole argument. It can
Yeah.
go both sides. So it it really poses the question,
Like
which is why. So
yeah, it's like it does. It goes. It falls either side because like
Yeah. So
They
in
were
this
they were
situation here,
yeah.
there was a right thing done, but in the heat of battle, as I would say,
Yeah. Like
do you
once
be
you
like, "Hey, stop fighting"? Stop. You can go in there, start pulling people off, and it's not swing, but that one swing that comes out of nowhere because someone wants to be an asshole and wants to just be an asshole and just go attack from behind like a coward, just fuck shit up for everybody,
well
concuss somebody.
that's the stuff like, we've seen it in real life as well as in movies and stuff. It's the gunshot that wasn't meant to be fired, right?
Exactly.
That gets scared and loses their cool, and then the tide turns, right? Like it happens. It's a real life thing. And this time, like, I don't think we had in it whatever what's it called, a enticing incident,
Inciting incident, but there
inciting
wasn't.
incident.
So I don't think. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that. I guess the inciting incident would have been all the white guys jumping on this guy, and
Yeah.
then that was okay. I heard the call, "Ibombe," and then they just all just run. Wakanda forever.
You bow back, dude. So
So,
funny, but like,
so yeah.
yes, it's we can laugh at it because no one got seriously hurt. I'm
Yeah.
happy that it didn't go worse than it did. But
My
yeah, I just
God.
felt like it was such a it's a crazy thing to think about. Like a guy just doing his job, just and then it ended up being like this whole big thing, man. Like just listen to who you need to listen to from the get. Don't pretend like you're better than anyone, and then you don't have these problems.
Yeah. Like, look, I'm. Yeah, exactly. I don't need to add to it because that's it.
Dude, I saw a video
Just
of a Starbucks Karen like throwing a fit, and I was like the same thing. I was thinking like, why do you think you're better than everyone else here? And you know what? Like, not to bring in I guess race again into it, but like she was white,
it's always
and
yeah.
everyone else in there was white. It wasn't even a racial thing at that point. She was just being an asshole.
But you know what it is too? Like it's still there is still like race underlying on it because that's encoded in her. She thinks she's privileged. She's like she can do it. Now
Like
like in a
yeah,
room full of white people, it's not a race thing, but it still is. But then now they're not seeing it that way. They're seeing it as she's just being an asshole.
yeah, dude,
So
it
it's
was
like,
just
why are you behaving this? But it makes me think: who was the barista? Were they someone? Were they a person
no.
of color?
They were no.
Just a
It was
white,
literally it was just all
just
white,
a
and
white.
she was just like,
But then that's another thing. That's just she's because baristas are
yeah, it's a
lower
classism thing, I
class.
guess.
So then, but it's still a privilege thing where it's like,
It
yeah,
was just it was weird to watch, man. Like I think they told her like they didn't have something or whatever like that, and she just started tipping shit over,
but you know what it is too.
like
As
just
you say,
like
like if it was a room filled with black people, or with the barista was a black or a person of color, whatever, I can understand that she's just being racist. Now, in a room full of white people, you're being an asshole, and that's a classism thing. But it's like, why? Now there's something disturbed because now what I can imagine what she would do in a room filled with people of color. You know what I mean? Because I can understand racism.
my thing is just I just will never understand the ability for a grown human, no matter what the race or anything, to have a temper tantrum like
I have something to say that.
in a setting like this person and like these people that do these things literally have temper tantrums as if they're 2 years old because they're not getting a thing that they want or because
Yeah.
like they're like maybe their routine is messed up or whatever. There is something to be said about mental health when it gets to that point, but
Oh,
like
100%. That's why I always tell people you have to be like definitely have a routine, but not so much where it one little trip on a pebble fuck shit up because then that's when you go
bro, if you don't
ballistic.
get your
You need to be
fucking
able to you need to be able to pivot. Like you
eh,
can't.
just because you can't get your nitro cold brew macchiato with fucking white chocolate sauce, like because they're out of the
Pumpkin
white chocolate
season
sauce, like
flavored white girl stuff, then
dude,
sure.
like come the fuck on, like life goes on, figure it the fuck out. Like that's not something that like there's never a need for you to act like an actual child. Like you are tipping shit over and like screaming being and like everyone has to be like, "Yo, stop." Like
Yeah. Yeah. Like people have to tell you to chill. No, and this is funny. So this is, and funny enough, I'm not. It's not like we pick on white people on this channel, but mostly it's
We
usually
try
a lot
not
of white
to
people. But
anyway.
I want, you know how like Charlemagne does Donkey of the Day in
Yeah.
Breakfast Club. I don't want to take that segment, but I just want to like emulate that. So I have one for this black guy that was on a plane. You probably seen it. He was yelling because someone's baby was crying,
Oh
and
my
then the
god,
guy was
yes.
like, "You need to chill." And he's like, "Yo, tell the kid because he's crying too." And I'm like, "Dude," I almost said the N word. I was like, "Guy, it's a baby. Why are you throwing the tantrum?
Dude, do you
That
remember?
baby has no control over this." He was like, "But it's crying. It's yelling too." What?
Dude, was that the same one where he was like, I paid like
It probably was.
$400 for the seat? Like,
Probably was. I didn't see that. I just see. I remember that exact scene. He was like, "It's
mm,
yelling too.
yeah.
Tell that baby to be quiet." I'm like, bro, it. You said all the words. You get to the point where when you're embarrassed and you just double down. And I deal with that at work all the time because sometimes what I do at work, and I do it because it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I ask the customer, I'm like, "So what do you want? What do you want?" I put the ball in the court because they want the thing for free,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, what do you want? And then they're like, I don't know. And then I'm like, no, you do know. You want this for free.
Tell
You just
me.
don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So that's when I'm like, I'm like, look, sir, it costs, or ma'am, it costs this much for this service. Um, what do you want? And then it's like, I can bring my manager over, but it's like you're gonna get the same answer. So now, are you mad at the situation? Are you mad at the company? Because it's like, because they're not like, to be honest. Look, we don't read terms and agreements and all that,
Of
but all
course.
devices have a 1 year warranty, and they give you the option to extend it. So why are you getting mad at me because you didn't add the warranty that I'm sure that my other cohorts have told you about? And not just forget being Apple. Just what about your carrier or Best Buy or, and this is not just for devices. This goes for everything. There's a
Well,
one
we
in
actually
the
just
United States. The United States, there's a 1 year warranty for a lot of products.
we
Other
just went through
countries,
this
yeah,
with my phone, right? Like when I
yes.
bought it, I didn't buy it through Apple. I bought it through a third party carrier. They gave me a 1 year. Apple has a 1 year also, but then you have to go in afterwards to
Oh
like
yeah, on your phone,
on
yes.
my phone. I would have to go in, make an appointment, and have it extended, like or whatever.
No, no,
But
you
like,
don't. Well, this is like a side thing. You don't because you were still within 60 days. It's after 60 days you go make an appointment.
mm-hmm.
Look at me doing my job on my day off. Um, but it's one of those things where it's like privilege, no matter what color you are. It's like you know the answer to things, and it's a lot of dumb shit. Like oh, people blame the pandemic. I'm like, bro, pandemic was 2 years ago. I'm sorry, you can't use that anymore. Like, we can't do things for you because of the pandemic. Now,
My
there was,
charging port is clogged because of the pandemic. Fix
yes,
it.
because the COVID virus jammed up the port. The way this man was acting on the plane, he should not have been acting that way. No reason. No reason. And then you compared yourself to a baby, which is the most hilarious thing. So he is kicking himself so hard because he knows he's been on TikTok
Oh
millions of
yeah.
times, millions of views. Now he is
He's
the
been
most,
embarrassed now.
yes.
Like
How you
super.
go through life. And if you're married or you got a girl, I'm sure that knocked you down a lot.
Like
I'd understand. Like, if I acted that way and Gabby looked at me a different way, I'd be like, look,
I get
I
it.
acted this way, I get it. No shame, bro.
You just got to take the L. He's just there like
So yeah, people, we all deserve things, but you're not owed it.
yeah.
You got to work for it.
And nobody on this earth except maybe Oda is better than anyone else.
Wait, nice way to end it. Nice way. Oh man.
But thank you guys for chilling out with us during J&J After Dark. As always, you can watch us live on Twitch every Tuesday at twitch.tv/theaveragejays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. Follow us on Instagram, The Average Jays Podcast. Make sure you're following us there for all updates regarding the show. Like I said at the top of the show, we're kind of like diverted to Instagram being our main platform. We are also still on TikTok, YouTube, so you could catch the VODs when they go up on YouTube over there, as well as the After Dark. TikTok, we have some excerpts over there, but Twitter we've kind of moved away from, especially since the whole like conversion to X. But yeah, Instagram is our platform of choice. That's where we're gonna have all the content.
We haven't exited it in a while.
Yeah, we haven't exited it in quite some time, but we have YouTubed, we have Insta'd, we have TikToked, we've ticked, we've ticked, and we've talked.
Yes.
But and for the foreseeable future, we will be twitching. So
yes.
Thank you guys again. As always, I'm Jay Justin Ruiz.
And I'm Jay Jeremy Francois. And look at who's supporting us today. Buff Chopper. So I'll have one of these at the end of every episode. Different ones.
Oh, you're going to start showing off different...
Yeah, it just supports my mic.
Different supporting cast members.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.
Laters.